Pop culture completely lied to you about ninjas. Modern movies make it look like a hype, stylish superhero lifestyle. All sleek black outfits, spectacular flips off walls, and throwing shuriken like an absolute boss. But you didn't choose this life to look cool. You were born into it. Welcome to Japan, the Sengoku period. The year is 1570, and the entire country is tearing itself apart in a brutal, bloody civil war. You draw your first breath, not in a grand palace, but in a damp, smoke-filled hut, hidden deep within the rugged, mist-covered mountains of Iga. To the elite samurai, you aren't even human. You are hinin, literally non-human and untouchable. A peasant born into a secret clan of shadow mercenaries. Your fate was sealed before you could even open your eyes. By the time you are 3 years old, your childhood is already being systematically erased. While children in normal villages play in the dirt, your father is teaching you how to walk without making a sound. You learn to step on the outer edges of your feet, to move in perfect rhythm with the rustling wind, and to vanish into the shadows the moment a stranger approaches. One wrong step, one loud cry, and your entire clan could be wiped out by a rival lord's vanguard. Age 5. This is the year you are formally and irreversibly initiated into the clan. There's no celebration. You look into the weathered, heavily scarred faces of your elders and realize a terrifying truth. You no longer belong to yourself. You belong to the shadow. You learn the true name of your calling, Shinobi no Mono. The word shinobi literally means to endure, to bear, or to steal away. And trust me, you are about to endure things that would easily break a grown man. Look at the samurai riding through the valley below. They wear pristine armor, carry elegant swords, and look down on your people with absolute chilling contempt. They think they own this world by right of blood, but they don't know that in the dark mountains right above their heads, a weapon is being forged specifically to destroy their arrogance. You are that weapon. You hit 7 years old, and the real, merciless grind begins. Your training isn't about looking flashy. It's about min-maxing your body for raw survival. By modern standards, it is completely toxic. First up, taijutsu, the body art. Your clan leaders force you through insane flexibility routines until your joints become like rubber. Deliberately dislocating your own shoulder to escape tight ropes or squeeze into a gap the size of a small window? Just another Tuesday morning. Next, your mentors systematically ruin your pain receptors. They beat you with bamboo sticks for hours to desensitize your skin and bones to impact. If you cry, you get no dinner. Since your life depends on stealth, you are trained to use sheer willpower to suppress coughing, sneezing, and even heavy breathing. You become a living ghost, incapable of making a sound, even at the absolute peak of physical exhaustion. They scorch your lungs by forcing you to run up vertical mountain slopes. With a heavy stone tied to your chest, you run uphill until you literally taste blood. You are trained to sprint immense distances while holding a straw hat against your chest purely through the speed of the headwind. If the hat falls, you run the entire lap again. The punishment for weakness here is simple: death on a real mission. And let's talk about your senses. Your diet is strictly regulated and heavily restricted. No meat, no garlic, onions, or leeks. Why? Because samurai guards have highly trained guard dogs. If you smell like a food court, you are completely cooked. Instead of normal food, you swallow hyoromaru. Hyoromaru, essentially starvation pills made of ginseng, buckwheat, and sugar. They keep your body lightweight, lean, and your natural body odor absolutely zero. But muscles are just tools. Parallel to your physical training, you study Gotoku, the 5 principles of psychological manipulation. You are trained to read a target's core insecurities, greed, lust, or pride at a glance. A true shinobi can dismantle the mental stability of an entire garrison, trigger waves of paranoia, and gaslight enemies into killing each other before he even draws a single blade. When it's finally time to go on your first mission, you aren't packing a giant arsenal of heavy weapons. You need to pack light and look entirely innocent. Your gear is called the Shinobi Rokugu, Ninobi Rokugu, the 6 essential tools. It includes a straw hat, a grappling hook with hemp rope, a slate pencil for notes, medicine, a cloth towel, and a container with burning embers to keep you warm. To an outsider, it looks like the useless junk of a poor, wandering traveler. What about the legendary weapons? The famous shuriken? Hand-hidden blades? Yeah, they exist, but they are not the ultimate killing machines shown in movies. They are strictly tools of distraction. Shinobi rarely throw them for an instant kill. Instead, you coat them in feces, rot, or poison. You throw them to merely nick a guard's face or arm, and let the deadly infection do the dirty work for you days later. It's chaotic, dirty, and highly effective. Your primary weapon is the Shinobi Katana, Ninobi Katana, a ninja sword. Unlike the long, curved, elegant katana of a samurai, which is considered a literal work of art, your sword is short, straight, and frankly quite ugly. It is not a symbol of honor, it is a pragmatic crowbar. You stab it into walls to use as a step stool to scale fences, or use it as a heavy lever. The steel is cheap, because if you have to ditch it to escape, you shouldn't waste a single tear over losing it. But your sword has a secret. The scabbard, saya, is intentionally made longer than the blade itself. Hidden at the very bottom is a secret compartment filled with metsubushi. Metsubushi, a blinding powder made of ash, iron filings, and ground pepper. In a sudden close-quarters ambush, you pull the scabbard, throwing a cloud of this caustic mix directly into the samurai's eyes. While he chokes and bleeds tears, you simply vanish. For him, it's an instant game over. Here is the biggest hot take about the shinobi. 90% of your life is just intense, high-stakes cosplay. Scaling castle walls in the dead of night is an immense, foolish risk. Instead, you use Shichideko, 7 disguises. You walk right into the enemy's castle grounds broad day, effortlessly blending in as a merchant, a street performer, or a simple peasant. Your favorite disguise is a komuso, a Zen monk who wears a deep, woven basket completely covering his head. Holding a shakuhachi bamboo flute, you wander directly onto the enemy's castle grounds under the guise of collecting alms. As you play meditative music, you look through the narrow slits of the basket, meticulously mapping out the layout of rooms, guard rotations, garrison sizes, and every single weak point. But if a situation demands a hard night raid, an Irinjin mission, you wait for the perfect moment. The most violent, stormy, and rainy night is your best ally. Thunder masks the sound of snapping branches, and pouring rain hides your footsteps. Using Mizugumo, special wooden floating footwear, you silently cross the castle's deep moat. Every single second, your adrenaline is pumping through the roof. Every step inside the castle is a dance with death. The paranoid samurai lords build special Ugui Subari, or nightingale floors, inside their residences. Their floorboards are rigged with metal brackets that emit a distinct bird-like chirp under the slightest pressure. Step on the wrong spot, and that chirp wakes up the entire guard unit. Step, freeze, wait a second. If you are captured, there is no mercy. If you are caught alive, there will be no trial. A long, agonizing public execution awaits you. You will be boiled alive in oil or crucified on bamboo crosses. To protect your family's secrets and ensure the survival of your clan, you always carry a capsule of poison behind your cheek. And if it's knocked out, you've been trained since childhood to bite off your own tongue to choke to death on your blood. No glory, no path, just the absolute underbelly of survival. But the most cruel blow of fate strikes you when you least expect it. At the dawn of the 17th century, under the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate, centuries of civil war suddenly grind to a halt. An absolute long-awaited peace falls over Japan. And just like that, the shinobi are no longer needed. The demand for your hyper-specific blood-soaked skills, honed through years of agonizing pain, drops to absolute zero. In a peaceful world, there is simply no room for spies and saboteurs. Your body is permanently broken by training, your mind is thoroughly burned out by years of paranoia, and you lived your entire life operating in the dark, betraying trust, only for history to casually discard you. The very samurai who hired you for their dirtiest, most underhanded assassinations will be the ones who write the history books. They will paint themselves as honorable heroes in shining armor, while branding you and your dead clan as dishonorable, cowardly rats. Your sacrifices are erased. Your name is forgotten. So when you see another hype ninja poster in pop culture today, remember that the real story was a profound, chilling tragedy. It wasn't about flashy superheroes. It was about a group of marginalized, oppressed people from impoverished mountain villages who did the most grueling, hellish work imaginable. They didn't do it for fame or honor. They did it for a single desperate chance, so that their children and families could simply survive in a world that wanted them dead. It was dark, it was messy,